Very good morning, students. Welcome to Gyanmajari Vidyapith Mahuva online digital platform. As you know, I am your science teacher Vatsal Trivedi और today we are discussed on chemistry unit number 1. ये यूनिट के अंदर डे 2 के अंदर हम लोग आज हम नया कुछ सीखने वाले हैं। आज का जो टॉपिक है वो समझने से पहले हम जो लास्ट डे 1 के अंदर हमने जो केमिस्ट्री यूनिट नंबर 1 में जो हमने डिस्कस किया था उसके बेसिस पर हम थोड़े बहुत प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चन के अंदर फिल इन द ब्लैंक्स हम सॉल्व करेंगे, जो आपको होमवर्क में भी लानी होगी और बाकी के जो क्वेश्चन हम आज करेंगे वो सारे क्वेश्चन आपको होमवर्क में लाने हैं. सो लेट्स स्टार्ट द डे 2. Here, question number 1.2 on your supplementary book SB3, question number 1.2, fill in the blanks. A. The finest quality of wool obtained from the blank. Next, wool fibers are made of the fleece of animals या fleeces of animals. यह भी आप लिख सकते हो. ए के अंदर आएगा विकुनस, बी के अंदर फ्लीसिस, सी के अंदर वूल्स फाइबर्स ट्रैप एयर विच इज अ बैड कंडक्टर ऑफ हीट. Next is the wool that we get from the Angora goats called mohair wool, and the wool get from the Angora rabbits called Angora wool. Then the lamb, swall, and merino are the that types of wool that we get from the sheep. तो ये हमारा आज का प्रैक्टिस क्वेश्चन नंबर 1.2 जो आपके फर्स्ट डे के बेसिस पर था. अभी हम आज का नया टॉपिक स्टार्ट कर रहे हैं, सिलेक्टिव ब्रीडिंग. सो हाउ वी कैन सिलेक्ट द परफेक्ट ब्रीडिंग. सो उसके रिलेटेड ये टॉपिक हम लर्न करेंगे. सो लेट्स लर्न इट. Selective breeding of sheep. Sheep have two types of fiber in the fleeces. First is a coarse hair on the top. Second is a soft and under hair. Woolen garments are made up from the soft under hair of the sheep. तो वुलन गारमेंट्स जो होते हैं वो सॉफ्ट अंडर हेयर जो शीप के अंदर होते हैं उसमें से बने होते हैं. Some sheep have the softer hair than others. Now discuss that how can we assure that we get more soft hair from sheep. We can make assure that get a more soft hair from the sheep by the breeding a greater number of sheep that have a more of the soft under hair. Next question, where do the sheep with the soft hair come from? Sheep come from their parents. If the parent sheep have a soft hair, then the offspring यानी कि उसके जो बच्चे होते हैं their child will also have a soft hair. अगर यहाँ पे आप लोग देख सकते हो कि एक sheep with the soft hair है और sheep with the another sheep with soft है, तो ये दोनों का जो ऑफस्प्रिंग हमको मिलेगी यानी कि जो दोनों का जो बच्चा मिलेगा जो चिल्ड्रन होगा उसके हेयर भी कैसे आएंगे, सॉफ्ट हेयर ही आएंगे. What should we do if we want to have a sheep with a soft hair as well as heavier coat of hair? We can do so by the choosing one parent with the soft hair and one parent with the heavier coat hair. We can do by the choosing one parent with the soft hair and one parent with the heavier coat of hair. Their offspring will then have a characteristic of both parents. तो जो उसका जो ऑफस्प्रिंग यानी कि उसका जो चाइल्ड आएगा, उसका जो चिल्ड्रन आएगा, उसका उसके अंदर जो हमको हेयर मिलेंगे वो सॉफ्ट भी होंगे और हैवी कोटेड भी हमको मिलेंगे. So it has a both qualities. Humans can choose the sheep whose characteristic they like to become the parent sheep. Their offspring will also have those desirable characteristics. This is called the selective breeding of sheep. तो ये चीज हमने देखी जिसको हम बोलेंगे selective breeding of the sheep. Selective breeding of sheep done over maybe generations. We can also choose a parents with the another desirable characteristic to produce the sheep with the more than two desirable characteristics. One example of shown below. Sheep with the softer hair and sheep with the heavier coat. ये दो हमने अलग अलग कैरेक्टरिस्टिक की गोट के बीच में जो उसका ऑफस्प्रिंग हमको मिलेगा वो हम उसके अंदर दोनों कैरेक्टरिस्टिक मिलेगी विद सॉफ्ट एंड हैवी कोट. और उसके साथ sheep that does not get sick easily. अगर ये दोनों का ऑफस्प्रिंग हमको मिलेगी ये दोनों की, तो शिप विद द सॉफ्टर एंड हेवियर कोट दैट डू नॉट गेट सिक इजीली. तो हमको कुछ इस तरह से उसके अंदर हमको कैरेक्टरिस्टिक मिलेगा जिसको हम बोलेंगे ब्रीडिंग ऑफ शिप. Selective breeding of sheep. To breed the selectively we must decided the which characteristic are important from the selection. Choose the parents that show this characteristic. Choose the best offspring that are created. This becomes that the parents to the next generation. Repeat the process continuously. ये जो प्रोसेस है ये स्टेप के अनुसार हम लोग सिलेक्टिव ब्रीडिंग जो हमारी सिलेक्शन के मुताबिक हम शीप के ब्रीडिंग हम कर सकते हैं. Can we use the principle of selective breeding to the grow a taller camels? We can use the principle of grow the taller camels by the using of these four steps of the selective breeding. First one is the decide which characteristics are important for a selection. This is would be height in the case of camels. Choose the parents and show the characteristic. Parents camels that all that are tall and breed and make a tall offspring. Choose the best offspring that are created. Those become the parents to the next generation. Repeat the process continuously. Offspring that the taller chosen to be the parents again they produce the camel that are a taller. Let us summarize. Sheep have a two kinds of fibers, their fleeces, soft under hair and the coarse hair on top. Selective breeding is used to breed the grow a sheep with the desirable characteristics such as a soft hair. And selective breeding involves the choosing of parents and the desirable characteristic and the having them the product having them produce offspring with the same characteristics. It is also carried out over the many generations. Now let us solve practice question number 2.5 and 2.6 on your supplementary book. So please open your supplementary book SB5 practice question number 2.5. Can we use selective breeding to the breed Angona goats to the produce in a finer wool? If yes, so explain how. So the answer is like that we can use the selective breeding to breed Angora goats to produce a finer wool by selecting Angora goats that produce the fine wool as a parent goat. So सबसे पहले हमें parent goat को ऐसी parent goat को select करना होगा जिसके पास एकदम fine wool उसके पास available हो सकता है. Now next step, choosing the offspring that have a finer wool and have them reproduce to have a more goats with a finer wool. Next question is that question number 2.6, same page number SB5. List and explain the steps of the selective breeding of apple trees to get a juicy apples that do not get affected easily. So answer like this. First, step number 1, we can write like that. Decide which characteristic are important for a selection. In this case, if would be juicy apples and the apples that do not get infected easily. And then step number 2 is like that, choose the parents that have these characteristics. In this case, it would be the trees with a juicy apples and those which apples that do not get infected easily. Next, third step is choose the breeds, choose the best offspring that created. In this case, it would be the new apple trees with the juicy apples that do not get infected easily. And the last step is step number 4. Repeat this process continuously. We would do this by using the seeds from the best of new apple trees with juicy apples that do not get infected easily to make a new apple trees. So every student write this practice question in your final fair book and with a proper handwriting, and click the photo and send it to me as your homework. And the last step is repeat this process continuously. We would do this using seeds from the best as a new apple trees with a juicy apples that do not get infected easily and make a new apple trees जो हमने अभी बोला था. Now let us watch one amazing video and understood that what can they say about the topic.
The process of making wool. Winters are the coldest time of the year. People wear shawls, sweaters, and scarves to keep themselves warm. Most winter clothes are made of wool. Now, where do we get wool fibers from? Did you think of sheep just now? Yes, that's right. Sheep are the most common source of wool. Apart from sheep, there are many other animals like yaks, goats, camels, llamas, rabbits, etc. who are also sources of wool. Imagine having to run behind a sheep every time we need a sweater. It would make the process of making wool quite hard and long. To produce wool, sheep are usually reared in large numbers on farms. Rearing means that they are raised for the special purpose of making wool. Sheep are reared all over India. The first step in the process of wool fiber production is called shearing. In this step, the hair of the sheep is removed along with a thin layer of skin. This doesn't hurt the sheep. It is similar to humans shaving their head or beard. The sheared hair is now washed in large tanks or in machines. This step removes any dirt, grease, and dust from the hair. This is called scouring. The next step is sorting, in which different fibers are sorted based on their length, color, and texture. The sorted wool has clumps of fiber coming out of it, which are called burrs. You can see these burrs even on your old sweaters. They make the sweater rough. So, the fibers undergo another round of cleaning to remove burrs. When burrs are removed, the fibers become smoother. This step is called combing. Combing can be done by hand or by machines. Wool is naturally black, brown, or white. But we get woolen clothes in so many different colors because the wool is dyed before preparing the item of clothing. Once the fibers are dyed in a chosen color, they are straightened and rolled in machines to make long yarn. The yarn is then converted into different garments using the techniques of weaving and knitting. So the next time you wear your woolen clothes, you will definitely remember the long journey these fibers go through to become your sweater.
Now solve the practice question number 2.1. Discuss in pairs, fill the graphic organizer given in the picture 2.1 on SB5 with your partner. Use the list of the steps for the process of making wool given below for hints. First step, breeding and raising sheep for wool. We can write a rearing. Next step 2, it is a shearing. It is a removal of hair from sheep. Third one is a sourcing or a soaring, removal of grass, dust and dirt from the collected hair. Then sorting, separation of hair of the different textures and the qualities. Next is a step 5, removal of burrs, picking out the small fluffy fibers called the burrs from the stored hair and then the drawing hair into fibers. Next is a dyeing, coloring the wool fibers. Next, rolling the fibers into yarn. Last 8 step, knitting or weaving yarn or finish the garment. Now write in your practice question number 2.1, first rearing, then shinning, sewing, sorting, then removal of burrs, then dyeing, then उसमें से हम वापस उसको रोल करेंगे rolling, then weaving and finish the garment. सो स्टूडेंट्स, आज के लेक्चर के अंदर आपको जो कुछ भी डाउट्स है हम आप पूछ सकते हो. हम डेफिनेटली आपका डाउट सॉल्व करेंगे. इफ़ एनी टाइप्स ऑफ डाउट प्लीज़ आस्क मी, आई विल डेफिनेटली सॉल्व योर डाउट. आज के लिए यहाँ तक रखेंगे. वी विल मीट विद द न्यू साइंस इन न्यू लेक्चर. सो अभी के लिए स्टे हैप्पी, स्टे होम. थैंक यू वेरी मच. बाय बाय. टेक केयर. फन विद साइंस. एंजॉय द साइंस.